If you didn't know, I started out as a freelancer selling menu rewriting services, went through this path of becoming a cold caller. I ended up as director of marketing at an Inc. 5000 fastest growing company. I ended up as the CMO at a rapidly growing $100 million valuation lead generation startup, only to have it come crashing down, start our own agency, and now we run several SaaS projects, are in the process of dominating everybody else in the industry. All right, I feel good. I feel great about where we're going. Plus, yeah, we've sold a few companies in the past as well. Just last year, we sold two, and we sold a small crypto project already this year. So we're doing this, we're wheeling and dealing. And in today's video, I wanted to talk about what is the career path. What should your career path be as an entrepreneur, as a business owner? How should your investing be structured? What's worked for us? And what would I do if I wanted to speed it up in the future? All that and more today on the channel. By the way, if you haven't subscribed yet, I notice most of you aren't subscribed. So make sure you subscribe to get a lot of content about lead generation, about sales, about cold email. I might even write on this whiteboard from time to time. You'll only know if you're subscribed. All right, let's continue on. I'm not going to write on this whiteboard today. Instead, today, I'm going to share my whole journey from freelancer to now. And I'll give a little advice, a little sprinkling of advice. It's going to be a loose video, all right? My knees up. Let's get loose. It all started in 2015. I'm riffing dates. I have no idea when it started. It started a while ago. I was a freelancer. And by freelancer, I mean I was in college and I didn't know what I wanted to do, except for the fact that I really didn't want a job. And so I tried all sorts of stuff to make my first dollar online. I tried a supplements company because I read the 4-Hour Workweek, thought that was the move. I tried a music podcast where I would interview musicians about their journeys. And none of it really worked until I saw this article in the New York Times. This article said that restaurants that used certain words in their menus would increase their sales. Now, I saw that and I'm like, all right, well, let me reach out to some restaurants to rewrite their menus. So that's what happened. I reached out to a few restaurants, and the first one, literally the first one that I cold called, told me when the owner was going to be in. I walked in at that time, pitched the owner, and he walked out to his truck, got a check, and that was it. I made my first dollar as a freelancer. From there, I went to New York City. I got a job at a startup using cold email. I've talked about this a bunch of times on the channel. Then tried to start my own freelance business. That didn't really work out. Ended up as a junior sales guy at an agency and improved their sales to the point that they made me director of marketing in a year and a half. Hit the Inc. 5000 2 times while I was there and have since hit it several times after. Then I started my own lead generation startup, got a job at another startup that got to a $100 million valuation in about 4 or 5 months before blowing up, making me $10 million and costing me $10 million in net worth. My 10% ownership stake of unvested shares I watched grow rapidly and fall back down to the ground, leaving me not at zero, but at less than zero. I was in mid 5 figures of debt, $40,000 or more of credit card debt after that. I learned a lot throughout that process about hiring, about growing. And after all of that, I doubled down on X27 with my partner, Robert Indresh, and we were able to grow that from my mom's basement, sending cold emails. We actually took it from nothing to $600,000 in annual recurring revenue in about, I think, 30 days, maybe 60 days, very, very quickly. And ever since then, I've felt like I've had FU money. I feel richer than I did when I had that $10 million net worth, honestly, because making that base level income every single month is freeing. It's more freeing than having paper net worth, that's for sure. Then I started teaching courses. We had a pretty successful course launch with Email 10K, which is still a course that we have today. I think we made close to 7 figures with Email 10K. Then we launched a bunch of Gumroad courses, made mid 6 figures with those. And so courses are always a good fallback for me. I like online courses as a concept. And then after that, we ended up doing multiple SaaS companies. We started in 2021, which was last year. I finally realized, like, we need to finally do some startups. We need to make some software and push it. So we did. I acquired a little company called Simple Apps from Ryan Culp, one of my friends. And we grew it a little bit and then flipped it. And then we also acquired a company called BotFuse. Robert did that acquisition, and we were able to grow that and then sell it as well. So that was 2 acquisitions. Later that year, we did Betty's, which was an NFT project. We took it to 8,500 holders. I don't know if you guys saw. I don't know if you saw the Twitter video we did about how we got those followers, but we were able to sell that early this year. And now we're working on LeadShark, which is our lead generation database. We put 70K into building that so far. Probably gonna have to put 6 figures in, but that's already got customers. It's the best lead generation database out there. We've got Taplio, which we've founded with the co-founders of Tweet Hunter, which was my favorite Twitter tool. Now we have AI LinkedIn writing with Taplio. And we've got some other stuff in the pipe. We've got things that I can't talk about yet, but you'll see soon. Maybe they're out by the time you watch this video. So what's the ideal career path as an entrepreneur? I say that to say this. I don't think there's an ideal career path as an entrepreneur. Some people really hate course sellers. They hate everyone that sells courses. Me, I can't hate course sellers. One, because online courses are the reason why I do what I do, right? I started reading Tim Ferriss. I started buying Ramit Sethi's courses, Neville Medora and AppSumo's courses back in the day. Like, those courses are the reason why I started. And we've made 7 figures with courses. So I'm not going to hate on the course business model. We still run Email 10K Ultimate, which is a community where I do calls every single week with our cohort of students, 30 plus, maybe 40 plus students now. And everyone is making money. We're all doing good. So I don't hate on courses. In fact, I think selling online courses is a great way to get FU money. It's a great way to make money and have a nice war chest, especially while you're waiting for the other startups to pick up. Would I recommend anyone start an online course? No, because you got to have it in your heart. You can't start an online course as a business strategy. You have to start it because you have to start it. Here's the career path I would recommend. 1, get a job at a company that does something. Usually I liked agency work because we got to work at a ton of different companies. It was like working at a buffet. You know, like one day we'd be working on Tyson's account. The other day we'd be working on like Hearst Publications, and we'd be doing some stuff for Fitch. Then we'd be working with like, you know, a $5 million raised small startup. Like then some rich guy would come in with like 200K to put down on an app. It was like a buffet. And so I'd recommend working at an agency if you can. Ideally one where you're working in an office in a major city. I did New York. New York's probably the only city I would recommend doing this in. So maybe New York City. If you can get a job there, that's great. You can use cold email to get that job. We actually made a past video on how to do that. From there, start learning what works and what doesn't. And then you can go out on your own, start an agency doing similar to the company that you just worked with. Then as you're going through the agency process, notice some things that your agency is doing. And then you can follow my mindset, which is I want the company that I work for to go out of business because it's been outcompeted by a software that I invented. That's it. So as you're working in your agency, as you're doing all this stuff, think about what software projects would destroy your business if they existed. For instance, if we're selling leads at the lead generation startup, right? LeadShark would have killed the $100 million lead generation startup that I was at if it still existed and didn't implode, because it allows you to get cheap leads that are highly qualified, highly vetted leads, whereas most companies are still charging hundreds of dollars or $1 per lead for what we're giving for pennies now. Taplio, the same way. You work with a social media company, they're going to write you LinkedIn content. But why do that when an AI can write you better LinkedIn content for cheaper that has higher reach and actually grows your account and makes sales for you? Doesn't make any sense. So that's what I would do if I were you, is think about how you would make your current company obsolete using software and then build that software. By the way, if you want to talk every week, you want to join this community of entrepreneurs, we're all growing together, then hop on in at Email 10K. You can do that down below at email10k.com. It's not just weekly calls though, you get access to all of our courses, Email 10K, Twitter 10K, LinkedIn X, Agency Action Plan, Salesman X. We have a ton of courses that you can get into, you can go through, and it comes with that private community. So if you want to meet with me, you want to talk, you want to grow your SaaS, you want to grow your agency, you want to get a job even, I can help with all of that. So hop on in at email10k.com. Subscribe for more videos like this, smash that like button for more content, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for watching. I'm Alex Berman.